Hey folks, Tim Newman of Soft Lite Studios bringing you another daily assignment. Today's assignment for September 3rd, 2019. Our assignment today is titled Education, and today's modern education comes complete with symbols of the journey at hand. From textbooks to study carols to computer labs, education is clearly an identifiable pursuit. Find some images of education happening around you. Let's take a look at some sample images. Now, there's no clearer symbol of education than the dreaded chalkboard with what I can only assume to be algebra on it. Not a subject that I was strong at, but generically speaking, I like this picture. I think it's a really good representation of education, and I think the green chalky background and the white chalk is immediately recognizable, and of course the color set one would expect. And I think the arm pointing out something on the chalkboard certainly makes sense here. It really brings the picture together other than just having the chalkboard itself. In our second sample image, we have this young child here at the library at school, studying, reading some books. And I think this is a pretty cool shot. It really gives you this sense of what education is about. I think the framing of this is really nice. There's a pretty good nod to rule of thirds here, and I just think the layout of this picture works really well in the context of trying to find scenes of education. Let's take a look at the elements of design that we're concerned about here. Obviously, shapes matter quite a bit, and when we're working with shapes, we inevitably run into form, which is a good thing. And then I think our perspective is important here too. If we think about our first two sample images, perspective really make the scene. Let's take a look at some more sample images. Now, nobody's ever made it through school without dreading the standardized test form and the little circles they have to fill in with a number 2 pencil. You know, you were always hosed when you filled in the wrong circle and tried to erase it. It just never works. And I don't understand why these things still exist, but they make for great photographic subjects. I think the rule of thirds that we see here works pretty well. I think that the middle field focus works great here with that minimal depth of field and the out of focus foreground and background. And I really like, again, the person's hand and pencil coming into the scene. It's the component in this picture, the balancing item, if you will, in this picture that really makes this scene come together well. In our next picture here, the all but too familiar new computer lab. And I think that computers in education are really a great thing because it's the way of the world, and that's what people need to be working with these days. So I love seeing this. I always loved it when my kids had computer labs at their school. I thought it made a lot of sense. I really love the way this picture's been put together. The diagonal line pulling us through the frame from an entrance point to an exit point. But not only that, I really like the complementary colors of the walls there in the background. And whether you have thought about it or not, all of the accessories and all of the clothing that all of these kids are wearing are really tied in to working with this scene. One last picture for you, the science lab. I love the little fans overhead. What kind of stuff are they working with here that every station needs its own fan? Well, I digress. I think this is a pretty awesome science lab. Doesn't look like the science lab that I had when I was a kid, but I still think it's pretty cool, and I think it would be fun to play around in here. I wonder if kids still dread science today like they did back then. Well, that doesn't matter. I really love the way this picture comes together here. The oranges against the blacks and the browns in here, I think really works well. The point of view and the diagonal line across here works great. I think this is a really nice scene. All right, let's take a look at our rules of composition. Now, we've seen this in a lot of our pictures. Rule of thirds. Use that when you can. It really helps to solidify the scene. Don't forget, point of view matters here a lot. That girl that's studying in the library, down on the floor, that's the point of view. That chalkboard squared up with a chalkboard, that's the point of view. Don't forget to move around and work your point of view. Okay, let's take a look at our format specifications for submitting images. If you're going to submit an image for our semi-monthly image critique, here's the format guidelines we want you to follow. Here is an example of a name for today's date and our naming standard. Now, if none of this makes any sense to you, please take a look at the Update 01 video, for which there is a link below in the description. Right below that, you'll also find the upload URL link, so you can click on that and submit your images for upload for this critique. Okay, folks, that's it, except for that subscribe link. Don't forget that one. So Click on that and stay up to date with what we're doing here at Lite Studios. All right, head out there, find some pictures of education near you, and capture some really great, compelling images today. All right, get out there and remember, learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.